Well, as families everywhere celebrate Mother's Day today, it's important to remember that countless others are still on their journeys to parenthood. But two local families in Rocky River and Pepper Pike are celebrating the holiday this year with new perspective on the meaning of family and friendship.
Oh, what is that good? You like it?
It's safe to say this household revolves around Roman.
Hello. Yeah. Which one are you gonna play with?
Courtney and Hue DeLuca are smitten with their sweet son, born in January.
Baby.
Hi, my baby.
Those words are ones Hue has waited to say for more than a decade.
We make the most of every day that we have with him because it's a gift, for sure.
Since getting married in 2010, Hue and Court knew they wanted to have kids, but after a year of trying, they weren't having any luck. At the Cleveland Clinic, they tried IUIs, then IVF.
Fortunately, all my pregnancies never stuck, so we've been pregnant probably 5 times now.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5 times, and in overall about 10 rounds of IVF at least. I think I stopped counting.
Flashes of hope and crushing loss. Hue and Court's journey was largely a silent one.
It was more almost just heads down. Just kind of keep your head down, and we just told each other, move on to the next step, move on to the next phase, what's next?
I remember everything I was doing at every miscarriage, you know, and like I would blame myself.
Despite the pain, they pushed forward, looking into adoption. Then they started to think about surrogacy. Lending support throughout
All right, love you guys.
was Bridget Baum. She had just moved to Ohio with her husband Scott and 1-year-old Fiona when she met Hue, instantly connecting over a job interview.
We just immediately hit it off really well and just had this 90-minute conversation. It was supposed to be like a half an hour. The recruiter poked her head in the room and was like, did you need to feed the meter?
As their friendship grew, so did Bridget's family.
I felt very aware of that at the time that I got pregnant with Lana, that I knew this was something that you wanted also, and I wanted to be really sensitive to how you would feel about it and how I could kind of share it with you.
With their 2 girls, the Baums knew their family was complete.
Dad. That's Dad. Who's that? Blue. That's Bluey.
While knowing the DeLucas were still waiting.
And I kept coming back to knowing that Hue wanted a child and wasn't able to get there. And I had really constantly had this feeling in my mind of, I wish I could do something, and could I do something? Hold on tight.
Bridget asked her husband what he thought about her being Hue's surrogate.
I just thought it was, the best gift you could possibly give somebody, and I was proud of her to even think about it, let alone move forward with that idea.
So over lunch in August 2021, Bridget asked the question.
In the middle of eating guacamole, she goes, have you ever thought about surrogacy, and would you let me do it? And I just remember crying into the guacamole.
After a lot of thought, both families decided to move forward.
But ultimately, the entire process, I think, brought Hue and I together. We're fighting a common challenge, throughout the entire journey. And then obviously bringing Scott and Bridget in was kind of the same thing.
I tell Bridget all the time, like, you created a family, and for her and I, we talk about how we're family now.
A new family, navigating this journey together.
All along, I knew that you wished it was you, and I knew that you wanted to be the one carrying your baby, of course. It's not lost on me that it's a privilege to carry my own babies as well as to carry your baby.
Then, one early January morning, it was time.
And the nurse says, Bridget, I didn't realize you had a whole army with you, so do you care if someone holds a leg? And I remember just it kicked in, and I was just like, I volunteer to hold a leg if you'll have me.
11 years after they started trying, Hue and Court finally had their little boy.
Man, when he was born, I felt such a huge sense of relief. I was like, we did it. I was so proud of us.
2 families, forever united by a dream come true.
the first smile that you get out of them in the day just kind of lights your world up. There's nothing like it.
I won't discount our journey, the ups and downs, but seeing him makes it so worth it.
I just love these families. Well, I asked Bridget and Scott how their 2 little girls reacted to the pregnancy. Bridget says she was amazed at just how accepting and excited they were. And now little Lana and Fiona love to visit Roman as much as possible. Scott says he hopes that when the girls grow up, that they'll fully understand the gravity of what their mom did and her selflessness. And another really special aspect of the stories too, so the family decided actually to share their stories with others by writing blog posts throughout their surrogacy process, kind of hoping to, you know, help other families know that they're not alone, so it didn't have to be such a silent journey, as we heard Court say there. And they said they got so many wonderful questions and comments from other families and other women about surrogacy and kind of how they can help others, or even saying, man, I wish I knew that was an option for my family.
Yeah, I love how someone sees a need and just steps in and fills a void for that family. And now to see both of their families kind of unite as one big happy family, like always best friends growing together. I love that so much.
When Isabel pitched this to us a couple weeks ago, I had so many questions. And I mean, you answered so many of them. And I think it's incredible to see the families still interact and to know that their kids are going to be so close too. I just think fertility is such, not an issue, I don't want to say that, but it's a struggle. It is. Some people don't know how hard it's going to be. And clearly the journey can be met with such a happy ending in so many different avenues. And this is just one that we're highlighting.
Right. Absolutely.
Isabel, I love the story.
Thank you. And happy Mother's Day to the Baum family and the DeLuca family if you're out there watching. All right.